Hello. I apologize for the delay. My computer at work broke, and during break, there's like nobody around at all that I can talk to. So I ran home. But I wanted to work on this with you, or at least give you something where you could like dig around in the databases. I wrote down a little bit about the population and maybe like the intervention. So let's talk about those things. Um, the practice that I've had with other 6110 students is we've gone in, and since this is related to therapy, let's go to a psychology database. You could go to, there's probably like sociology or public policy or any other ones related to this too. But let's start with psychology. Oh, I might have to, since I'm at home, I may have to do the door authentication. I do, I apologize. Okay. The quasi-experimental and randomized control trial, that's typically been, with the students that I've worked with, has been like the hinge that's like everything has been messed up on. And so the trick would be to expand everything that you are working on first and then narrow it down to the RCT and quasi-experimental. So the first one, the population, we can work on that one next, but let's work on the therapy or the intervention. Um, Couples. Oh, look at that. It already answered the question for me. Like, what are synonyms for couples therapy? What are synonyms for marriage therapy and counseling and all that other stuff? And it looks like it's already spelled out for us. But you would put things in quotes that you want to stick together. Oh, I was just thinking, so you could put a married couple in quotes and they'll stick together. So sentimental I am. And the or in between just makes it look for, it's going to look for one thing, and then it's going to look for the other thing, and then it's going to make a big pile. So let's start with that. So systematically, let's go through each chunk. And this one's the intervention. Let's see if there's other names for the intervention. Couple therapy. I wonder if that's going to get caught by couples therapy. We can narrow down. Ultimately, we will, but we can go in by subject and see, is there anything else that it's called? Ooh, family therapy. That doesn't sound like a couple. That sounds like kids and everything. But are these other things, do they matter? Is the therapy the hinge point, or is it is one of the elements where we're looking for how to mitigate issues in the relationships? Because there's a lot like relationship quality, family relationships. So it might not be the therapy for the couple in particular, but looks like we caught it pretty good. There's also like the discussion of the problem. Okay, I feel pretty confident with that one. So let's go in and let's look at our population. So this is a question that I had. So there's our intervention. And a population is, that's going to be non-normative couples, bi, tri, gay, polyamorous, open. So here's where we might run into some issues where we want to expand it using other words. So if we look at sex therapy or marriage therapy or couples therapy, we don't have to necessarily state that somebody is a couple. We could just say, like the big one, LGBTQ. Would all of these work? Or are you looking for specific ones, specific iterations of the L and the B and the G and the T and the Q and all that stuff? So let's LGBTQ star or bisex. And if you do the star, it gets bisexual, so I don't have to type out the whole thing. Or polyam. Did I write that right? Oh, did you put that in there? Oh yeah, open marriage. Open marriage. So every time you come into a synonym. So let's see. In the context of couples therapy, couples counseling, blah, 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 blah. Let's see what we get when we add that. So we had 12,000, but it goes back way far. Whoa, that's where it narrows us down. Ooh, and every time you come up with one, I saw that one right here. You might think of couple, oh, they're a couple of couples. Oh, I didn't think bisexual or bisexuality. Looks like family therapy shows up in here, but I'm just taking a quick look to see, oh, same sex. There's another one. So do you get the idea? We're looking for synonyms. So we went from 113. Let's see if we added those two, if it expands. Ooh. That might be something that will work for you. I've worked with a bunch of other people in the 6110, and that adding synonyms and related terms as they're described in the articles as you go has sometimes helped. Sometimes you can find it in subject. Ooh, there's one we didn't put in. So this has been discussed over a period of time where definitions, identities, describing words and things like that are still contested. So you might have to dig into the thesaurus to look for different ways of talking about it. Oh, sexual orientation. That doesn't sound like a population. Okay. So as you work with that, then you would go to randomized controlled trials, but those are also called RCT or randomized trial, or help me out here, EBSCO. I thought it was giving me synonyms. So this is where most people are finding like one. So let's see if we can find one. Yeah. This is why this assignment is so hard. It's because there's very, very few. So relational growth, therapy with lesbian couples. Does this have an RCT in it? Phenomenological. And then another kicker is sometimes these have to be like newer articles. So this one, we don't know when this is from. This one's 2013. Is that too old? This one's 2010. Is that too old? Systematic review is not a randomized controlled trial. Let's see what this one is. Oh, there we go. RCT. Oh, relational cultural therapy. Oh, and randomized controlled trial. Oh, so this is where you have to like dig around. If you get to and you could do the same with quasi-experimental. Let's try that. Quasi-experimental. I would avoid putting anything after the quasi-experimental. So we're just looking, because no one's going to use that. Although I said that with RCT, didn't I? One. So what you might have to do is think about the issue that you're working on. What matters to the population? Is there like a specific problem that you want to work with? So couples therapy might not always be the context. So for example, would it be something like communication? Would it be something like argument or conflict resolution? So let's add those. Let's just do conflict. Oh, but we want the couple, don't we? Oh, well, you get the idea. Can we shift away from the therapy as an intervention and maybe look at something that's like a higher level? Arguments, separation, communication, those things that make you go into couples therapy. So dig around And I would say dig around before you go into the randomized control trial and quasi-experimental. Try expanding these searches in that way. But then also remember that we have a bunch of other databases that you can choose from. And my recommended list is under research guides and social work. Oh, this is gonna bog down. But it's under the social work and then the PhD tab. So if you find, did my face, oof, I'm just like, my computer's hanging by a thread. If you go to the PhD Master's Help, I have a list of databases right here, how to stay current discipline-specific research. Try sociological abstracts. Try Social Science Premium. We already tried PsycInfo. Try some of these other databases because they're all kind of have little nuanced elements of social sciences that the other ones might not duplicate, and you might be able to build up just enough. So for example, there was one where I was looking with a student and we couldn't find anything in PsycInfo, and all of a sudden we found like 6 in sociological abstracts. So don't be put out. Systematically go through each one, write down your keywords. I will put the keywords in the email that I sent to you. So let me know how it goes, and sorry for the delay.